Good afternoon. I call this oversight hearing to order. As this committee well knows, one of the fundamental trust and treaty obligations to tribal nations is to protect the public safety on their lands. As early as the 19th century and as recently as 2022, Congress has affirmed and reaffirmed this obligation. From the General Crimes Act of 1817 to the Tribal Law and Order Act of 2010, and even more recently with the Savannahs Act, the Not Invisible Act, and the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, we have recommitted and doubled down on our obligation. And yet it's abundantly clear that public safety challenges persist. The committee's record is filled with examples of these challenges: inadequate federal funding and public safety resources, including law enforcement and corrections personnel, patchwork criminal jurisdiction, deteriorating and unsafe jails, or sometimes no jails at all, the crisis of missing and murdered indigenous people, and the devastating impacts of fentanyl, just to name a few. And with an evolving legal landscape, most notably with the Supreme Court's decision in McGirt, these resource-based challenges have become more acute. So when the committee received renewed calls to focus on public safety matters, we answered. First with our listening session in March, when over 600 individuals listened in, and commenters overwhelmingly listed MMIP and law enforcement officer recruitment and retention challenges as top priorities. Second, with our legislative hearing earlier this month on two bipartisan bills that would address both these priorities in meaningful ways. And today, with our oversight hearing, we'll hear from federal witnesses whose agencies are directly responsible for ensuring public safety and providing victim services in Native communities. In short, this oversight hearing has been purposefully informed by priorities that tribal leaders and Native stakeholders uplifted in our listening session and legislative hearing. It gives the DOI, Justice, and HHS the chance to respond and testify about how they are addressing unmet public safety needs and implementing the laws that Congress passed to address those needs. It's also the committee's opportunities to remind our executive branch partners that the United States must do everything it can to live up to the trust and treaty responsibility to protect the public safety of American Indians, Alaska Natives, and Native Hawaiians. Before I turn to Vice Chair Murkowski for her opening statement, I'd like to thank all of our witnesses for joining us today. Vice Chair Murkowski.